Hey adventurers, I wanted to make this video in light of some recent circumstances. Bullying is something that's not too uncommon in life, unfortunately. I have dealt with it myself in the past, and I am currently dealing with it as a fully grown man. In my case, bullying tends to come with the territory with either my size or my personality. So to start this story, I want to tell you the story about my first bully. We're going to call him Bob. So when I was growing up, I had a bully named Bob. This was a person who is significantly smaller than me, like a lot of people. If you've met me on the airsoft field, I am a quasi giant. So yes, I do view all of you as smaller people. That's just the way it is. Bob was one of those kids with a chip on his shoulder. He would punch me, kick me, trip me, belittle me in front of the class, and I had to deal with this for an entire year without any sort of help from anybody. Time went on, and I never forgot Bob. I ended up moving to Florida, going to college. I found myself, became more confident as a person. Eventually, spring break came, and I wanted to go back home, see my family, see my friends, so I did just that. I met up with my childhood best friend and Master of Ceremonies, or MC, in my Eagle Scout Court of Honor. Yes, I'm that much of a nerd. I am an Eagle Scout, and I'm very proud of it. So my best friend brought me to a local park to meet some of his friends that he had met in college since he stayed home and went to college. And I heard somebody playing the guitar and saw a bunch of girls sitting around this guy playing a guitar. And I walked over and lo and behold, it was Bob. I had seen his face in my nightmares for years and years and years at that point. So I knew exactly who he was. It was at least 10, maybe 10 plus years later, but I knew exactly who he was. My friend, seeing that I was looking at this guy, didn't obviously catch the look on my face because he decided to bring me over to introduce me to him. And when he introduced me, he's like, "Hey, this is my friend." And before he even said Bob's name, I interrupted. I was like, "I'm sorry, I know exactly who you are. Your name is Bob, right?" And he looked at me kind of quizzically. He was like, "Yeah, I'm Bob. Who are you? Where do I know you from?" And, well, I used to go by Andy. I was the big kid in class in the blue whale pod. We'll leave my teacher's name out of it. And you were my bully. And when I said that, I could see everybody in the general vicinity starting to back away. Because again, I am a large person, whereas I don't ever use that to impose anything on anybody. That's the first thing that people see. I diffused the situation fairly quickly by looking him dead in the eye and just saying, "Look, Bob, I forgive you." But I think the damage to him had been done because he was trying to be the guitar guy, the sensitive guitar guy. It turns out, he's actually a child school bully. But hopefully he has changed. But I don't think that defeating a bully with violence is a way to actually finish off the bully. Because the bully is something that's mental. It's something that's inside of them. And it's usually something that's coming from pain. Maybe therapy can help, but you punching them in the face is only going to exacerbate the problem. It'll throw them into a further depression and everything like that. So don't become a bully. Don't drag yourself down to their level, or don't let them drag you down to their level. Just be yourself. Be a good person. So that was the history of my first bully. Between then and the current date, 2022, I have gone through quite a bit in my life. The past 2 years have been some of the hardest years I'm ever going to experience in my life until I finally start to get sick and die. I'm sure that's going to be pretty hard too, but this has been incredibly difficult for me the past 2 years. Talking about the difficulties, I've learned how to handle these difficult situations just through experience. If nothing else, it's just simply through experience of dealing with these people. Because when you're a kind person, for some reason, these bullies are always going to come to you. Sometimes they come to you kind at first. They're looking to take advantage of you emotionally or financially. Eventually, when they see that there's nothing left for them to take, they get rid of you. And when they get rid of you, they want to get rid of you in a way that makes them look great, that makes them look like heroes, when in fact, they're nothing more than just a schoolyard bully. So that brings us to our current bullying situation, in which I'm dealing with 3 bullies, one of which I'm not going to talk about because there's ongoing litigation. And this person was a former family member of mine and has made my life a living hell for 2 years. Hopefully at some point I'll be able to make a catharsis video on that. And my God. So any of you that have been around the channel, been around Holy Cows, been around the airsoft field in general, you'll know that I was hanging out with a group of people for quite a while. And we were pretty much viewed as a family. And unfortunately, you may also realize that I'm no longer hanging out with those people anymore. This is the result of someone deciding that I was not welcome in that group anymore. This person was someone that I introduced to people as my best friend. This was a person that I had, until all this happened, I had actually looked up to him like a hero. And these people in the group are people that I spent a whole lot of time with on and off the field. Some of these people even lived with me for a while they were going through some of their own personal problems. These are also the people that basically threw me away like a paper cup. And they threw me away because of a bully. Now, I know the exact instant that this former best friend, or someone who I consider to be a best friend, turned into a bully and started viewing me as their enemy. Now, to get to that story, I need to give you a little bit of backstory here. Now, again, I'm not giving out any names, but I'm going to give you a general overview since we're a big community here, and I just want all this out in the open, especially since so much has been said about me behind my back by these people, by this bully specifically. But this bully influenced other people to continue this nonsense. So let's go through it. So one of the former group members was going through some familial issues. Unfortunately, this issue ended up dragging me into it, being who I am, just being kind, looking out, trying to help. I ended up becoming a victim of this as well. So the first bully that we talked about, Bob, we're not going to bring him up again, okay? This bully that has precipitated all this nonsense, we're going to call him bully number 1. And this bully that we're about to talk about is bully number 2. So let's try to keep it all up in our heads, okay? So bully number 2 basically decided to have a private investigator follow me around for a couple months. At least a couple months that I know of, because I have it on my Ring camera and I have my neighbors talking about some random cars that are sitting in front of my driveway, taking pictures, taking videos, stuff like that. So this bully number 2 actually paid someone to follow me. I had met this person maybe once or twice in my life, but my God, I had never experienced something like that before. Someone who I don't even really know turned out to be a bully and had me followed by a PI. I have some pretty funny stories about my neighbors and other people chasing away the PI, so if you're interested in hearing those, please feel free to let me know. Some of them are pretty funny, actually. So this bully number 2 that had me followed by a PI, after getting the PI's information, realized I had nothing to do with this. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty much the furthest thing from a bad person in that situation. But once this person found all that out, they decided to start calling me a cult leader. Because you see, once a bully starts bullying you, they're not going to stop. They're just going to continue bullying until they get the results that they want. Which I don't even think they know what they want. I think they just hurt on the inside and they want to make other people hurt. But I digress. When bully number 1 heard that bully number 2 was calling me a cult leader, bully number 1 looked at me with a pained look in his eye and said, "Why are you the cult leader?" I honestly expected him to start crying or tear up the way that he said it. He sounded physically hurt and emotionally hurt as well. But I had to tell him, I was like, look, there's no cult to lead. But that hurt him because he wasn't in charge, or he didn't feel like he was in charge. And that's the thing about some bullies. They always feel like they have to be in power, which is why they start to bully people, because that is a way for them to get power, or perceived power. So after bully number 1 heard that bully number 2 was calling me a cult leader, and bully number 1 felt like he wasn't in charge of the entirety of the group, bully number 1 decided to start spreading rumors about me. He started spreading the rumor that I'm an alcoholic and I need to be kicked out of the group. He told me he did this directly via text, and he said that with no remorse. What really hurt wasn't that this person spread lies about me, but what really hurt was that the other members of the group believed his lies and proceeded to ostracize me, and they kicked me out of the group. And the odd thing is that some of those people actually stayed at my house. I took care of them when they were going through nonsense in their own lives. Nonsense that they pulled me into, had me followed by a PI, had me bullied, precipitated this nonsense with bully number 1, which eventually got me kicked out of their group. Their group. So I was ostracized inside and outside of Airsoft by this group that we had been called a small family for a little over a year at that point. And this group is over solely due to the lies of a broken person. simply because of the lies of a bully. This person also tried his best to spread these rumors to all of you. And that's the sad thing. That this person was sitting there talking to kids, spreading lies about me to children. What kind of person do you have to be to do that? To start using children against somebody? It's just wrong. Wrong on so many levels. And by the way, using foul language around kids is a faux pas. But if you're using foul language and you're talking trash about someone behind their back, it's weird for me to have multiple children come up to me and say, why is so-and-so saying this about you and saying F this, S that, all this other stuff? It's not a good look, bro. And in his attempt to spread rumors to everybody, I saw the way that people started looking at me. And I'm not going to lie, that hurt. That hurt a lot. And at that point, I truly felt betrayed. But I knew that I had done nothing wrong, mainly because I am not an alcoholic. And by the way, if you or someone you know is dealing with substance abuse or any sort of those things, the right way to take care of that, if you are their friend, if you even care about them as a human being, is not to make fun of that illness. That is messed up on so many different levels. But I mean, you wouldn't make fun of somebody who has cancer, right? I guess we make fun of people with alopecia now because of Will Smith. But you don't make fun of people for other things like that. You definitely don't make fun of people for alcoholism, okay? And especially with someone like me, who I have people in my life currently dealing with alcoholism. It is a hard thing to watch. And when someone's making light of it, it just makes you incredibly angry. I am very angry at this person for saying that stuff about me and for making light of such a serious disease. It is disgusting. That's just wrong. And it shows a lack of integrity. So now that some time has passed and this former group is still ostracizing me, it doesn't seem like anything's going to change on that front. I have forgiven. I've tried to move on, but it seems like that chapter of my life is over. The positives from this most recent bullying situation is that you guys didn't believe the lies of a bully. That's fantastic. That makes me feel really good. That means that I'm doing the right thing by living my life with integrity. That way you don't believe the nonsense that people make up about me, that this bully makes up about me. And all of you help me grow this community, our community. You know, this is your community as much as it is mine. And you helped me to continue this adventure through all these hardships. You inspired me to keep playing Airsoft, to keep doing these things that I love. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Thank you. If any of you are dealing with bullying, just know that you're not alone. The main thing you should remember is that bullies are people that need to be pitied, but they should never be permitted. So please feel free to reach out to the community if you or anyone else you know is dealing with bullying, or if you're dealing with substance abuse, or any of those other things that you may need help with. Just know that we have a community here of very supportive people that at the very least can sit here and listen. So I want to end this segment on bullying with a quote from the greatest woman I've ever known in my life, my grandmother. I called her Nanny. You don't have to be mean to be a big man. You just need to stand up. So my advice is to stand up, stay positive, be strong, and always maintain your integrity. We're airsofters. If we can play with integrity on the field, we can live with integrity off the field. And we can also be examples for how other people should live their lives. Let's all live lives that we can be proud of. Let's live the life of the adventurer. So live your life like an adventurer. Join me on this journey, and let's keep being positive and growing this community that is so, so great. I'm Drew, aka Mr. Benefit. I'll see you on the next one.